This is Austin Makani with What Matters podcast, and today we're looking onto the future opportunities for young people, the enabling environment, and how to tap onto the future opportunities, how to navigate through them and grasp them and just basically go through. And to take us through this podcast today is GMAC, the Managing Director of UBA. It's truly an honor to have this session with you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to have you as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
To you, thank you. So, GMAC, before we go on to the nitty-gritties, I would wish to really understand my viewers and those following the podcast. Who is GMAC, really? And just tell us, ever since I met you, looking back into 2 years ago when you came into Tanzania, I've always been keen to engage, to talk to you. There's always something that I'm learning. And I believe my listeners will learn a lot from our discussion today. So tell us a little bit about your background, to what really made a fine young man in you.
Thank you very much, Austin. It's my pleasure to have you here today. And of course, I remember when we met, fantastic conversations. And since then, we've been very good friends. Thanks so much for the honor. My name is Benga Makinde. So the G stands for Benga, G-B-E-N-G. By the way, when I came, I was being referred to as G-Benga. So, but it's called Benga. Makinde is my surname. I'm a Nigerian. And I came to Tanzania in 2022, January 2022. My background, I schooled in Nigeria. Went to Anglican primary school. From there to my secondary school. We did my first degree in geography and regional planning. Then I started my career as a banker in 1997, to be precise, August 17th, 1997.
Wow.
And I worked in several banks, have experience in investment banking, commercial banking, retail banking, corporate banking. I've worked as a branch manager, and I worked in corporate banking. So, and then risk management as well, credit risk management also is one of the areas where I've worked. But if you look at my career as a banker, I would say that I am a thoroughbred corporate banker, which I have done out of my 27 years banking experience. I have done that for almost 19 years, corporate banking. Before I came to Tanzania, I was the CEO, United Bank for Africa, Benin Republic, for 2 years, 2020 to 2022. So 2021 to December 2021, before I came to Tanzania. For me, what I stand for, number one, is discipline. And I like to work smart, and I like to humble as well. Because I believe that the foundation of success is being humble and being disciplined. Then the horizon is, limitless. That is what I represent.
Humble and disciplined. Fantastic. I think, looking onto the profile you've just mentioned, I think the only seat that you've not sat on is as the governor. But I believe you should be headed there anytime. GMAC, you've headed UBA, and part of our very initial discussion when we first met, you've headed now UBA for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And I remember some of the things you mentioned and the transformation stages that you took to transforming UBA to a very well-performing bank today in Tanzania. So you probably want to share some of the steps you took from where you found UBA to where we are today.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm sure you've seen our performance over the newspapers over the years that we've come. We publish that every quarter. Yeah, UBA has been in Tanzania for 15 years. Let me take you back to my journey as a CEO. I was in Nigeria heading fast-moving consumer goods, where I headed food, beverages, and tobacco and multinational companies in Nigeria in corporate banking UBA. Then from there, I was identified to go to Benin Republic, UBA Benin Republic also, which was a struggling subsidiary of UBA, and which coincidentally started also in 2009. So it was a struggling business, making losses, no return on shareholders' funds, and all of that. So I was sent there for transformation. And as God will have it, we got that done within 6 months, where we exceeded our full year budget by May 2020. Even that was a period of COVID, remember?
Yeah.
So that was the period of COVID. I resumed January 2020, and by May, we had exceeded the budget of the bank, full year budget of the bank. We ended the year with about 120% of PBT. We improved in performance. We grew our balance sheet by almost 300%. Wow. We declared dividend for the first time. We paid bonus to staff for the first time, and we promoted almost 54 employees at the center. So this is what really prompted my journey to Tanzania, that okay, if you could do Benin Republic, UBA Benin Republic in 6 months, then we need to transform UBA Tanzania as well. So that was how I was sent in here for the transformation. And when I came in also, our performance wasn't good, and I looked at what we have, and I see that we were sitting on a gold mine. And what I did was to put my people together. My first day in Tanzania as a CEO was 16th January 2022. We were seated in the board strategy session. I started my day one in the strategy room with all my team members, where we looked at the numbers, we looked at the balance sheet and the business, what we needed to do. Number one was the issue of culture. The culture of the people, which I tried to address. And how was that addressed? I looked at identifying the right skills, talents, and assigned the right roles, meaning round pegs and round holes, because there was a lot of mismatch when I came. So we did that. Secondly was we needed to also get in new hands, like-minded, who are thoroughbred professionals in the industry and who could help us to drive the business. So we brought in a lot of people at management level, at various levels. We brought a lot of people to help us drive the business. Then leadership, which is what I stand for, which is my role, is when a leader provides, number one, the right support. What is that right support? Eliminate bottlenecks. Then your followers will deliver. Right. So my number one job, eliminate bottlenecks, provide leadership. What is that right leadership again? Leadership by example. I resume work by 7:15 sometimes, 7:10, 7:10 in the morning. So leadership starts with discipline. Then I set the right roles and direction for my people, and they see the genuineness of purpose, and they see the direction, and then everybody follows. So then we went into the market to do business development and enhancement, identifying the major business leaders in the industry, the businesses that exist in the corporate world. We brought in them on board. We provide the right support. When we went also aggressively on our consumer banking, SME banking, and also we brought in so many businesses and provide support for those businesses. And then if you look at our performance, you've seen how we moved from a profit of $450,000 in 2021 to $1.6 million in 2022 to 3.8 in 2023. So you check that is also in multiples of over 200% growth over the years and all of that. So this is what we do. This is and for me, as a leader, is number one, remove bottlenecks, create the right direction for my people, and also be disciplined. When people see that the leader is disciplined, the leader has focus and direction, people will follow you.
Right.
Thank you.
You've mentioned, and we've gathered, and that your entire background is from West Africa, and now you're in East Africa, and we can't tell the difference. Yeah. How have you been able to really navigate through the cultural differences between the West Africa? Mm-hmm. The way you conduct your business, the way you look onto business and perspective, mm-hmm. to the way Tanzania looks onto business and perspective. Yeah. I'm sure there are some cultural clashes here and there. Mm-hmm. I'm sure in the process, as you were bringing about changes, you stepped on a number of toes, but 200-300% turnaround is substantial.
Yeah, thank you very much, Austin, for this wonderful question. You see, we could say we have cultural differences, but what I see is heterogeneous culture, meaning different culture. But when you look at Africa as a continent, I can say that the culture of Africa is on the same premise and footing. Number one, in Africa, we are communal in nature, meaning we are in there for ourselves. We appreciate extended family kind of relationship. We want to be there for each other, want to support each other and all of that. That is African for you. If you look at African culture, whether Tanzania or Nigeria or Benin Republic or Kenya or Ghana, we love respect.
Right.
We love respect. Then when I came in, one thing that I learned early in my life is there is never something like superiority of culture or thoughts.
Right.
Respect others' culture, respect others' opinion, then infuse your own areas where you think could be better. Most especially, let people understand the perspectives you are bringing to the table. So when I came in, if you remember Nigerians, where I come from, we like to do things, we are like moving faster than
right
yesterday,
there.
we want things done like today and all of that, like yesterday and all of that. And and then in an environment where we are also, we take life easy, want things done at a pace, and things have to, you don't have to crush yourself to get things done, right? So there has to be a mix. So you create the right, or you create the sense of urgency where there is actually an emergency or urgency. Mm-hmm. Okay? And also recognizing that there has to be a work-life balance.
Right.
Knowing fully well also that you have to respect the culture of the people. So you are not bringing any superior opinion or superior. And again, one thing that's worked for me as a leader is being able to bring my team together to deliberate and agree. And once that happens, there is that sense of ownership.
Right.
So me coming on board to Tanzania, that is what I do. I bring my people together. Guys, we've got to do this. If we do it now, these are the consequences. If we do it tomorrow, these are the consequences. If we do it next tomorrow, these are the consequences. These are the results we are going to get. So what do we want? Oh, no, we want it done now. Okay, guys, let's move. In moving, I lead the pack. So I don't sit and tell you, I've been to Dodoma, I've been to Arusha, I've been to Mwanza. Within 90 days of being in Tanzania, I will never, I repeat, send any of my team anywhere I have not been to. I will be the one to be there first. I will go first, come back, then you have to go. You know why? I will experience and appreciate the challenges that our people face in the journey to success. I can share with you that I've taken that route, and I will share my experience with you and how you can navigate to even succeed better than I have done. Then when we succeed, then you give commendation to your people. And as a leader, you take ownership of whatever problems or challenges that comes after that.
Leadership and transformation.
Yeah.
You see, I learn every day, and I truly appreciate. GMAC, recently, very recent, I had the opportunity to attend a webinar, and I gathered that UBA is representing or has some affiliation with Tony Elumelu Foundation.
Yeah.
I wish to understand, especially my viewers who have heard and just admire what this foundation is doing. What is the relationship, and how then can Tanzanians through UBA be part of the foundation?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much. Tony Elumelu Foundation is a foundation that was established 15 years ago. And this was the realization of the vision of Mr. Tony Elumelu CFR, who was the former group CEO of United Bank for Africa. Mm-hmm. And then in 2009, thereabouts, I think he stepped aside and handed over to the next generation of leaders in UBA, then established Tony Elumelu Foundation as a platform to give back to the society. And the objective of this foundation is to actually empower African youth entrepreneurs, where the foundation provides seed capital of $5,000 to young Africans who have business initiatives, and the objective is to elevate Africa from poverty.
Right.
Poverty alleviation, and expected that those entrepreneurs will have businesses that will succeed and then hire more people, employ more youthful Africans, and lift Africa out of poverty. That is the objective of Tony Elumelu Foundation. And so today, Tony Elumelu is the group chairman of UBA.
Today.
Excellent. He's the group chairman of UBA. So what we are doing together is some sort of partnership between Tony Elumelu Foundation and UBA, where because UBA is present in 20 African countries, and the platform for Tony Elumelu Foundation to reach out to all Africans is on the back of UBA.
All right.
So we've seen several beneficiaries of Tony Elumelu Foundation out of Tanzania. Coincidentally, as we speak now, the platform for application for entrepreneurs, youthful entrepreneurs, is open. And we need nothing less than 2,500 Tanzanians to apply for that opportunity. So that application is ongoing right now, and we want Tanzanians, youthful Tanzanians who have business ideas or who run businesses that is not more than 5 years. Good ideas, especially green projects. Because today we all talk about climate change and green energy and all of that. So we need entrepreneurs who are out of school fresh or doing businesses not more than 5 years with their own fantastic business idea but do not have the capital to set up properly, to apply to Tony Elumelu Foundation and benefit about $5,000 each, which is non-refundable, interest-free for entrepreneurs to be able to support the business. And beyond providing the seed capital, the Tony Elumelu Foundation will provide training, mentorship. I'm one of the members of Tony Elumelu Foundation, so provide mentorship and trainings and all of that. UBA, as also a reputable organization, will support beneficiaries in the areas of money management, training, succession planning, sustainability, and what it even takes for you to manage a banking relationship. So we're going to provide all those support as well to make sure that beneficiaries from Tanzania are also more equipped to have businesses that will sustain the objective of Tony Elumelu Foundation in Tanzania and across Africa. So this is what we are doing together.
One of the great lessons that I've heard in life is, given the opportunity itself to probably attend only the training.
Yeah.
You may not go beyond, the seed capital, but just to acquire the knowledge and the training is a success in itself. So I hope that young Tanzanians will actually take keen interest to come forward and apply. You are watching and listening to Austin Makani with What Matters podcast, and today I'm with GMAC, the managing director of the UBA Bank here in Tanzania. Great lessons. We're looking on to the future opportunities for young people, but as we discuss the future opportunities for young people, there's so much to learn: leadership and what it takes to transform businesses and enterprises, and parts of what you're going to enjoy on this podcast. GMAC, let me take you on a lighter note.
Yes.
If you're to invite 3 people on a cup of coffee, those people could be dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Thank you, Austin. 3 people all over the world, right? Or in Tanzania?
Anywhere in the world. Anywhere, every corner. Gone or still alive?
Okay, great. I think I would have loved to meet Albert Einstein. Yeah.
Interesting.
For his level of IQ, which, someone that invented the light and tried 1,000 times. So, I'm just wondering, trying 1,000 times,
You don't have that patience.
You don't have that patience, and then, there must be something wrong in his head, and it would have been good to sit with him to understand who exactly he was, and a lot more to learn from that. Patience is good. With someone that is very intelligent, that we know with my little experience, intelligent people have very little patience. They want things done now and all of that. So that I would have loved to meet him. Then the second option will probably be a shock to you. I would have loved to sit with Adolf Hitler.
Hitler.
Yeah, Hitler.
Interesting.
To understand
Right.
I read his book, Mahatma Gandhi. And he's someone that, and I even discovered that Nelson Mandela learned a lot from him, because at the point he was also in South Africa. Mahatma Gandhi was in South Africa, about the spirit of forgiveness. He was more or less like someone that championed that, how you forgive and how you champion causes without being violent,
right,
and achieve your goals, rather than the revolutionary thought of you have to pick up arms and all of that for you to achieve your goals in those days and all of that. But he used a different method and still achieved the same goal. These are guys that I think are unique in their various ways, both positive and negative.
Interesting. I'm gathering the art of reading books in you, GMAC.
Thank you.
Would you probably, before we move on to, or rather further, because I also had this question, to understand which amongst the books you've read, I know you've read so many books, is your favorite book, and what lesson should we draw from it?
Okay, I have two.
Okay.
Number one preference is living a purpose-filled life by Rick Warren. Living a purpose-filled life. I read that book, I never remained the same, because I knew that even this conversation that we have today, there must be a purpose. There must be a purpose.
There is.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you stepping out of this building, there must be a purpose. Why are you living? You live for a purpose. So everything you do, you need to define at any point in time, what is the purpose of what I'm doing right now? What do I intend to achieve? Does it align with my big goals and mission? Does it represent what I stand for? And what kind of image or perception am I trying to create? And how am I influencing people's lives? There must be a purpose. There's a purpose why I'm here. So that's number one by Rick Warren.
Right.
The second one that I also admire so much is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. By Stephen Covey. Yeah. Those books, trust me, I've gotten my children to read those books.
Interesting.
Because there's no way you could read those books and still remain the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
So quite interesting.
Interesting now. GMAC, I did mention at the very beginning that every moment that I spend with you is a golden penny. Yeah.
Thank you.
Which is, I can't even weigh the value. Yeah, and as you rightly said from your final response, everything has a purpose, including this call, this podcast that we have today. And the intention to this podcast is now you talking to the young people out there and tell them what are the future opportunities. And we have a tendency of saying, Tony Elumelu, for instance, those who should apply are the who and who, the people who have gone there. But it's a call to everyone. So how can a young person who probably has an access to this podcast, as simple as having an access to this podcast, seize the opportunity that the young people have for the bright, beautiful future ahead of us, recalling that Tanzania has the most youthful population, and Africa at large, globally.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. I will borrow a statement from Mr. Elumelu. He defined luck in a certain special way that I can never forget. And the way Mr. Elumelu defined luck is when hard work, preparedness meets opportunities, then you are lucky. That is where he's defined luck. But that wasn't my understanding of luck before. My luck before was just jump from nowhere or wake up from nowhere, then one good opportunity just comes and then you grab it. But guess what? We all see opportunities every day.
Right.
Every time. So as the youth that we have in Tanzania, I understand from the last census of almost 61.5 or something, almost 62 million Tanzanians,
right.
About 70% were youth.
Right.
And for me, that represents a huge opportunity for Tanzania and for Africa as a continent. And for youth that we have, it's being able to say, you know what, how do I prepare myself today? Mm-hmm. How do I key into basic knowledge and skills and be able to anticipate and prepare myself that when that opportunity comes, I'm able, number one, to identify. Because if you are not prepared, opportunity fly every day right under your nose. You will not identify those opportunities. And what are the ways, in my own simple opinion, what are the ways for you to get prepared for those opportunities? It's number one, for you to make sure that you are skilled. Being skilled is not going to university. I hope you understand that.
Totally.
It's not going to university to say, oh no, I have this degree, I have that. No.
Totally.
No. Today we have, if you check several degree holders at home doing nothing, right? So it's acquiring skills that will prepare you for those opportunities and not necessarily relying on what government can do for me. How can I add to my society? The training I give my children, right, it's not about degrees. It's how do I be a solution provider?
Right.
And that is what our youth needs to focus on. How do I solve a problem? How do I become a problem solver for my society? Because guess what? Once you identify opportunities, which is gaps, the needs in the society, and you position yourself as the youth to be the solution provider, the go-to person, you will succeed.
Absolutely.
You will succeed. So it's not about going to schools and wherever it is. So I said today, for example, you need to upscale your skills. You need to then create good knowledge of what is happening all over the world, environment and all of that. Because look at Tanzania today. Tanzania is a country that, looking at all the plans of the government and all the things that we're seeing, is going to boom in terms of economic development. We have the largest gas reserve, if not in Africa, maybe in East Africa, of, I was told, almost 25 billion cubic meters of gas reserve in the country. How many of our youth today are preparing themselves in terms of skills when those explorations will happen? Maybe in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time. Tanzania represents the most farming land in terms of, Tanzania is bigger than Nigeria, and the farmland, the arable land in Tanzania is huge. How many of our youth are being skilled, creating the right skills for mechanized farming to take advantage of upskilling our production? And not only that, processing of agricultural products, not just exporting agricultural products, but processing of those products. When I went to Australia, I visited a chocolate making factory. I was shocked. The technology for making chocolate is not more than this my office. Can be contained in this my office. Right. And yet, how many chocolate manufacturing companies we have in Africa? So these are the opportunities that we have. Not thinking, oh, I'm here, my dad is not supporting me, my government is not giving me this, so I don't have. What are you doing to upscale? The world richest guys we have today started their businesses right in the garage. Right. Just mentioned the man, Zuckerberg mentioned Bill Gates mentioned. These are guys that started from nowhere. and today they're making billions, the world billionaires. So this is the challenge that we have. This is what I think our youth should focus on. How do I solve? Identify the gaps. What solution can I be? Let me be a solution provider. Once you provide solutions, people will go for you. People will pay for it, and you become a millionaire. Then you make money. Then you become and you influence not just your own life, but the lives of others around you. And that is the purpose-driven life that we spoke about.
Purpose-driven life.
In Rick Warren's book.
G-Mark, my very last question, not to take a lot of your time, and totally humbled and honored to have this opportunity to have this podcast with you. But my very last question, what is your favorite quotation, G-Mark?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. My favorite quotation is by Albert Einstein. I may not be able to put it correctly, but he said that, I remind myself 100 times that the life I live were people who helped me, those dead alive who helped me to be who I am today. And I live my life to make sure that I exert in influencing the lives of people around me every day. Wow. And this is what I live for. Okay. This is what I represent. That if Austin thinks about me, if Austin thinks about me, what will he say? How will I have influenced his life? Today we have about maybe about 150 employees in UBA. If I leave Tanzania today, what will they say about me? How will I have influenced? I, as a leader, measure my progress and my success by the progress of people that work with me or that I influence. In my community, even in Nigeria, everywhere, is how have I influenced those that I've come in contact with. That is what gives me joy. That is what makes me fulfilled. Not necessarily what I have or what I have achieved or whatever. It's nothing. Because at the end of the day, vanity upon vanity is vanity. It is the lives of people that you touch that makes that difference. So I want to live my life to make a difference by influencing others positively.
Excellent. And this marks the very end of Austin Makani with What Matters. I will not give a summary to this discussion because many lessons. What can I speak? So truly for me is to really thank you. On behalf of all my viewers. This is a gem. There's so much wealth in this discussion, this particular podcast, and I'm totally grateful. And as those books you've mentioned, those quotations you've mentioned, those lives you want to impact, I believe this video is going to, have me myself reviewing it time and time. I'll have my kids watch it time and time, so that we just keep on learning. And through learning, through exposure like this, is how you're able now to impact yourself, to be able to impact life. So thank you very much, G-Mark.
The pleasure is mine. Nice to have you here.
I'm looking forward to again challenging you on the tennis, which I did not mention that you play tennis, but
that would be lovely.
We'll do that.
That would be lovely.
Thank you so much. Austin Makani with What Matters podcast. Thank you. Watch the next episode.